welcome back to Some Assembly Required. Today we're going to be talking about how to change a 2x4 Lego brick that we drew last week into a 2x2 Lego brick. And the purpose of this video is to show you how to edit pre-existing models that you might have or you might get from somewhere that has a feature tree attached to it. So I've taken the Onshape Associates exam, and one of the things they have you do quite a lot is edit existing drawings. So sometimes they make you draw the part yourself, then they ask you a question, you give them an answer, then you redo that. They're like, hey, now here's a change order. Make the holes this big, the fillets need to be changed to this, extend it out to be this length. And so you're changing all kinds of stuff and you have variations, right? Remember, the whole point of this Lego series is to have bricks that will work together. And in the real world, Lego bricks need to click together, right? You know, you hear all the time that there's people that make things in engineering that they could draw it all up on the computer and you'll never be able to do it in the real world. Well, we aren't trying to do that. We want these to actually work and you can actually print them out. So what I did is I printed these out last week. I did my 2x4 brick. I did 2 of them on my 3D printer. They took about 18 hours each brick because I blew them up to 4 times the size. They took quite a little bit of time. They're not the cleanest prints in the world. I'm still trying to dial in my printer at the school and figure out what I need to do to make them better, but they do click together, and I'll show you guys that at the end of the video how they look. But what we need to do is make a copy of our pre-existing geometry. So first step we're going to do is we're going to right click on our 2x4 brick part studio. I'll right click and say duplicate. So we'll click duplicate. And you'll see down here now I have a 2x4 brick copy number 1. I'm going to click there, right click, and click rename. We'll call it 2x2 brick. Enter. And before we move any further, I want to come right here up to this part 1. I'm going to right click and say edit appearance. Okay. I want to change that color to blue. If you see on our print, I'll show here in a second. I have it in a blue color. And the color I picked is going to be 60A0B9. Enter. And you'll see now I have my brick that color that I want it to be. Okay. You might have noticed down here that I have this other icon too called, that's a folder. How do you make a folder? You click the import new tab or insert new tab, the plus sign, you click create folder, and then it'll make you a folder. Okay. So human nature would be to grab this 2x2 brick and try to drag it into the 2x4 folder or back out, right? The problem is you're in that folder, so you're dragging it around in the folder. So how do you get it out of here? What you need to do is right click and say move to parent folder. We'll click all tabs to take us back home. Now I'm going to grab this and just drop it in that 2x2 folder just to stay a little bit organized. This document is the one that I'm going to put in the description. It will be public. You guys can take a look at it, make a copy, but that's where things are going to live. So we have our 2x2 brick drawing. Down here, we have another one that I'm going to show you how to do something quick. And then I have this other part studio that we're going to be working in right now. Okay. So if we look at our drawing, you'll see on our print that the brick needs to be 15.8 by 15.8. If we go back to what we drew, you'll see if I click this line, it's actually 31.8. Okay, so 31.8 divided by 2 is not 15.8, right? We do 31.8 divided by 2. That actually gives us 15.9. So what the heck's going on there? If we were to split this in half, split this brick completely in half, it would look like this. We do a section view. We'll go back 15.9, negative 15.9 millimeters. There we go. That is what that brick would look like cut in half. The problem is that's not what our brick is. Our brick calls for 15.8. Okay, and that's going to give you that tolerance to be able to put the 2 pieces side by side and move them and change them and do all that, right? So a couple of things we could do. We could take here, we could delete here, add some pieces, change some stuff, right? But 15.9 still isn't the correct measurement. So how are we going to do this? Okay. My thoughts, a couple easy ways would be to, well, obviously, one, you could draw this whole thing completely from scratch, right? Start with a 15.8 square, come in, do your offset to get your wall thickness, and then add one little piece, one clutch part right here, and then you could do like a pattern of some sorts, mirror it over, however you want to do it. But we're talking about how to edit today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to use this and show you kind of how to manipulate it the hard way. So let's shut that section view off, turn off section view. We need to mirror it, or we need to split it. So we're going to click this split function, and it's asking me, what part do I want to split? Well, obviously I want to split part 1. Okay. So we'll click part 1. Now, what do you want to split with? So this is where it's crucial that you base everything off the origin. I'm going to turn my planes back on, and I'm going to use that right plane to split my model. So we'll say okay. And now we have 2 bricks, okay? I'm going to take the one on the right side, part 1, and I'm going to delete it. Say, yep, delete that part, and we're left with that left-hand side, okay? So I'm going to shut off my planes now, and let's start editing some stuff. So again, we said we need our piece to be 15.8. So if I look, that's 15.9. First thing I need to do is take this face and push it back 0.1 millimeters. So we're going to use the thicken tool to remove 0.1 millimeter. And you'll see that's kind of hard to do. Let me see if I can get that view. There we go. So we're just cutting that chunk off, right? And we're going to say accept. Now, if I were to measure this brick from side to side, it is 15.8, and we are good to go there, okay? Our studs are still going to be located in that same spot, so I've trimmed that piece up now. And now we can start getting rid of some other geometry, okay? What I need to do now is I can take here, and we need to delete this face here, and we need to delete this whole cylinder, half of a cylinder, right? So a couple things we could do. We could say delete face. So I could come in and start deleting faces off. Say, hey, I don't want that. I don't want that. And you'll say it'll heal. The problem is there is some, let's go back here. There's some other faces that are going to get deleted as we do it, right? And so that's not going to work for us. So delete face, while it sounds good, isn't going to quite work for us. So what I've come to notice is that you can do thicken, but you can also just do an extrude cut. So if we take here these 3 faces and we say extrude, remove, and we change that to up to face, and we say stop here, I can delete all 3 of those in one fell swoop, and we're good to go, okay? Some things I've seen happen, let me clear out that delete face. Some things I've seen happen before. Maybe you want to do this. I've had students run into this. They've deleted just the cylinder. The problem that you run into with deleting just the cylinder is now that piece isn't quite straight because of the cylinder. It's got a round cut in it. So you're, oh, well, I'll just take this face and I'll extrude it out. Well, how are you going to do that? Because it's not a flat face. It's going to try to go at an angle, and it's going to cause problems. So what I recommend, like I said, is just make sure that all the faces are selected, and then just start from scratch. So we're going to start a sketch up here. Normal. We'll do a rectangle, letter G on the keyboard. Come down here. And this needs to be a wall thickness of 1.2. So we'll say okay. And you'll see if I were to take that and we'll say up to face and extrude, you'll see now I have my wall. The only thing we're missing is these ribs right here, right? So our brick looks good. We just need to add those ridges on it. So let's go back into our sketch 6. And now we're going to use these pieces here. And we're going to draw a center line from the center of my brick. Center line to center line. Make that a construction, and we will mirror over that line that we just created, that piece and that piece. Once I select OK, because it was added to my geometry that I had before in that extrude command, it's going to auto add. So that's the easy way to kind of do it. If we look at our drawing, you'll see we don't have those ribs that we had before, like on the 2x4 piece for support, like kind of like gusset type pieces. So we are where we need to be. This is done. It's pretty simple. Okay. I know we're about 11 minutes in. But that's the hard way of doing things. Okay. I'm going to step into our 2x2 brick quick and show you the quickest, easiest way. Okay. We go all the way back to our sketch 1. One thing to notice is that it's 31.8 by 15.8. We look at our drawing, it needs to be 15.8 by 15.8. So if I go into here and change that to 15.8 and press enter and then accept it, I just went from all that work changing one dimension. Well, you're like, okay, yeah, cool. But now I have these 4 floating shapes. What am I going to do with those? What we need to do is figure out where those exist. So if I click that shape, you'll see it exists in extrude 2. And I can go back to my sketch 2 right above it, and that's where I drew that pattern. Okay. So instead of doing 4, I only need to do 2. Okay. And same thing. We'll say accept. Now, where did that exist? I believe we did a mirror command. So since those are just free floating, I could easily just delete those. Say accept. And you'll see it shows we have a problem with extrude 3. So what's our problem with extrude 3? Is that we now have that rib in there. So let's clean up that rib. Let's go back. It says missing face of sketch 3. So we can delete the stuff that doesn't exist anymore. And you'll see once we do that, it'll clean that up. We have no error anymore, but we need to figure out where this rib lives. So we could just get rid of that extrude 4 and say delete. And sketch 4, if we wanted to, we could also delete that as well. So back to the same. Now, just to prove it, I'm going to right click part 1 and add a mass, edit material. So ABS, it's already ABS, so we're good. And if we go to my 2x2 brick, the other one we did, edit material, it already is ABS. So we're in our 2x2 brick the hard way. Our mass for this one is 1.183. And if we check our 2x2 brick quick, our mass here of this part is 1.183. So we have the same exact geometry, 2 different ways to do it. And then we're good to go there. Okay. Yeah, so that's going to pretty much do it for us today. I'm going to switch over to my other camera. Yeah, so I wanted to show you guys the bricks that we actually printed out. I'll have the 2x4 and the 2x2 next week, but I have the 2x4 to show you. So this is a standard 2x4 brick. Let's see how close I can get it. You can see the ridges and everything, and I actually measured these with a caliper. That was a fun little exercise trying to figure out how to do that. And so what I'm doing with these bricks is I'm going to have my students measure the big ones. So what I did was take this and turn it into this. So 4 times the size. Like I said, you can actual standard Lego brick fits right in that cylinder. And you can see kind of the ridges, little clutch power pieces right there. And I made another one. Biggest thing was, okay, do these work? Do they go together? And that's the cool part, is they actually fit together. My print quality isn't the greatest. This one I printed upside down with support coming up. This one I printed right side up with support going inside. And you'll see on the one, support going up, it's kind of messy on the inside. We broke some stuff trying to get the stuff out of it. This one, really beautiful on the inside. A couple of issues on these cylinders, but the top is the mess. So I toyed around with kind of putting it on an angle, and it was going to take like 1 day, 13 hours, and like 8 minutes or something like that. These ones took, I think the right side up one took about 15 hours, and this one took about 18-ish, 16 hours, something like that. So obviously the 2x2 will only take about half the time. But some other things I wanted to show you. This is actually a Lego set that I got from being a VIP, spending way too much money on Legos. Obviously, if you can see behind me, a lot of Lego sets I have. But this is a Lego brick made out of Lego bricks. So I think it would be really cool if we did a Lego brick made out of Lego bricks, but massive. So I don't really want to take it all the way apart, but there's some plates in here. There's some, that right there is a 2x4. So essentially one of those, but doing it on a large scale with one of these. Actually, it's bigger than what we have already. So this would be kind of cool to build a brick and go from there. So if you guys have any questions or you're struggling or whatever, feel free to reach out. These are some fun models, and essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to take these models in Onshape and start building assemblies to be able to attach these things together and practice how they would fit up and how they orient. I left it in the car for a little bit and it baked. There we go. So even that side, a lot tighter. So how you can orient them different ways and how you can go about, essentially building on your computer. When I first learned CAD, I learned on this system called PlasmaCam. But way back in the day, before I even realized it was CAD, which is kind of dumb because it's called CAD, I had this program called BlockCAD, and it was literally build stuff with Legos. So I think we're kind of going full circle, and I'm getting back to where I started. But I can't wait to see what we can do with these models and see what you guys come up with. I know there's some people in the community that are making some really cool full-on Lego sets. I don't know if I have the patience to let the 3D printer run for that long, but we'll see what happens. So thanks again. Tune in next week, and we'll be doing a 2x2 brick, but with a slope on the end. So I think some people call them roof tiles. 2x2 kind of wedge piece. So I'll see you guys next week. Take care.